I want you to do me a quick favor. Right now, wherever you are, just pause for a second.
Yeah, just take a quick mental inventory.
Exactly. Take a mental inventory exactly what is in your pockets right now.
Hmm?
Or, if you have a bag sitting right next to you, mentally list out every single item inside it,
Down to the loose change.
down to the loose change or that random pen you stole from a bank.
Got it. Because today, we're taking a deep dive into something most of us do completely on autopilot.
But it actually says an incredible amount about who we are.
It really does. It shows how we interact with the world. We're looking at everyday carry.
Widely known as EDC in the community. And
Hmm.
to really get to the bottom of this, we are pulling from a incredibly diverse stack of sources today.
Retro diverse.
We're talking deep dive Reddit threads, foundational Wikipedia definitions, Forbes nutrition guides, flat lay photography blogs, and even luxury travel articles. The mission for this deep dive is to basically unpack the philosophy, the specific tools, and the aesthetics of what you haul around every single day. We want to help you optimize your daily loadout so you can be prepared for absolutely anything.
Without feeling overwhelmed.
Right, no physical or mental clutter. Okay, let's unpack this. We all know EDC fundamentally comes down to utility and preparedness.
Wikipedia defines it right off the bat as a collection of useful items consistently carried on your person for self-sufficiency.
But what the sources reveal is how drastically different people interpret that basic need. I mean, it is not just a random pile of receipts and old gum wrappers at the bottom of a tote bag.
No, not at all. What's fascinating here is how this basic human need for preparedness has evolved into an intense internet subculture. It overlaps heavily with collecting, actually.
Oh, totally.
Enthusiasts treat curating their carry as a functional art form. They are meticulously weighing the craftsmanship, the design cues, and the cost-benefit ratio of every single tool they put in their pocket.
And it is deeply tied to geography, right?
Right.
Because of the laws.
Yes. The subculture has to navigate complex legal restrictions depending on jurisdiction.
Right, like carrying a concealed pocket knife.
Exactly. That might be an unquestioned norm in one place, but in the UK, carrying certain tools can actually run afoul of the Theft Act 1968.
Which is wild to think about.
You can be charged with an offense of going equipped to steal just based on what you might consider a harmless utility tool.
That legal boundary adds a whole different layer of calculation to what you put in your pocket. And looking at the broader choices people make, it seems the community really splits into two distinct camps.
The minimalists and the maximalists.
Yeah. There's this great fictional dialogue in one of our sources called The Carry that perfectly illustrates this psychological divide. And we have some hard numbers from a DHgate buying guide to back it up.
Let's look at the minimalist mindset first.
Right. So the dialogue uses the character Leo as an analogy for the tech-focused ultralight carrier. He's carrying a slim MacBook Air, noise-canceling headphones, a single USB-C cable tucked into a tech pouch, and a flattened protein bar.
And that is it.
That is literally it.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, Leo's approach is entirely about friction reduction. The DHgate source notes that a typical minimalist bag setup like that weighs around 400 grams.
So like?
Very. These bags usually feature materials like soft PU leather, which is essentially a synthetic polyurethane that mimics leather but keeps the weight drastically down.
And they keep it simple inside, too.
Right, they might have just one or two compartments and a simple magnetic snap closure. The entire goal is reducing the physical burden on your body.
Streamlining your daily life.
Exactly, so your bag doesn't become a literal anchor weighing you down as you move through the city.
But on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, you have the maximalist. In the dialogue, this is represented by the character Maya.
Maya is ready for anything.
An apocalypse or an impromptu brunch, or possibly both simultaneously. She's carrying a 32-ounce insulated bottle covered in stickers, an analog planner, a fountain pen, a sewing kit.
Which Leo jokes looks like a Victorian-era clock repair kit.
Right. And my personal favorite detail, a single, loose Taco Bell mild sauce packet from the year 2024.
Maya represents the pack-it-all charm, which is deeply rooted in anxiety mitigation.
It's physical reassurance.
Yes. The DHgate guide points out that a maximalist bag is significantly heavier. We're talking often pushing 750 grams or more before you even put anything inside it.
Wow.
These bags have 5 or more compartments, heavy zip-top closers, and textured materials like faux crocodile leather. Carrying a bag like this is described in the source as putting on armor for the day.
Armor for the day. I love that phrasing. You are visually and physically signaling that you are prepared for any conceivable scenario.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener?
Well, the DH Gate source hits the nail on the head regarding the physical consequences.
Because there's a cost to being Maya.
Absolutely. Overpacking, like carrying 3 kilograms of just-in-case items.
Like that 2024 Taco Bell sauce packet.
Exactly. It leads to actual physical strain. We're talking about chronic back pain and shoulder fatigue. But on the flip side, underpacking leaves you vulnerable. You're constantly relying on the preparedness of others. The magic word the sources keep coming back to is intentionality. Every ounce needs to justify its presence.
Speaking of intentionality, let's look at a masterclass in how to curate a loadout. We reviewed a 2026 YouTube video by Nicholas Garafola showcasing his capsule tech setup for digital nomads.
Oh, this was fascinating.
It is a brilliant example of assigning every single item a hyper-specific, unyielding purpose.
Let's break down exactly what he carries, because the psychology behind it is so interesting. First, his laptop. It's an older 2020 M1 MacBook Pro, 256 gigabytes.
And the genius part isn't the hardware itself.
Right, it's the rule he applies to it.
Yeah.
He strictly uses it for work and video editing, never entertainment. He says he has conditioned his brain to know that when that specific piece of aluminum comes out of his backpack, it is time to be productive.
That psychological boundary is incredibly effective for remote workers. By removing the association of leisure from the device, he completely eliminates the temptation to open a streaming tab.
It's all about focus.
Exactly. But the real center of his workflow is his iPad Mini 6. He uses it for reading, planning, drawing with an Apple Pencil 2, and all his media consumption.
And he protects it with a smart folio case.
Right. But what makes it special for his setup is a specific accessory, the Paper-like 3 screen protector.
This was the thing that blew my mind.
It uses nanodots technology to mimic the exact friction and tactile feedback of real paper.
Bridging that analog and digital divide seems so crucial for people who want the convenience of a screen, but the physical sensation of a notebook. And his phone strategy is just as deliberate.
He's not out there upgrading to the newest model every year.
Not at all. He carries a beat-up iPhone 13 in matcha green. The battery health is sitting at a dismal 73%.
Oh.
I know. But he limits the phone strictly to communication. It isn't a doom-scrolling device. It's practically a pager at this point.
Which raises an important question about mental health in an EDC setup. If your entire bag is geared toward hyperproductivity, you risk burnout.
You need a release valve.
Yes. Garafola addresses this by carrying a Nintendo Switch OLED in a slim case. He argues that having a hobby to disconnect, specifically one you aren't trying to monetize or optimize, is vital. It's purely for mindless decompression during transit.
And to wrangle the power for all these devices, he relies on a Broy Tech pouch. This serves as his organizational hub. It holds an Anker 65-watt charging block, an external SSD, a hub, and his cables.
It completely eliminates the chaos of loose wires at the bottom of the bag.
Right. But taking all this tech on a commute introduces a new problem entirely.
Sensory overload.
Yes. If you spend time on trains or buses, tuning out your environment is basically a survival mechanism. Which brings us to a 2026 Reddit thread from the digital nomad community. They were discussing the absolute best commuting headphones.
And the community identified 4 non-negotiable factors you absolutely must consider.
First is specialized active noise cancellation, or ANC. Standard noise cancellation often struggles with low-frequency rumbles, like train engines and HVAC hums. So you need technology specifically tuned to neutralize those deep vibrations.
Factor 2 is long-wear comfort. We are talking about memory foam that actually holds its shape between uses rather than flattening out, and headbands with complete padding.
Factor 3 is pass-through, or transparency mode. And this is crucial for commuters. It allows you to hear natural-sounding train announcements or have quick interactions without constantly taking your headphones off.
And the final factor is battery life. The benchmark for a serious commuter headphone right now is hitting anywhere from 27 to over 40 hours on a single charge.
Because you don't want to be caught on a cross-country train with dead headphones.
The consensus from the Reddit community highlighted a few top picks: the Sony WH-1000 XM5, and the Bose Quiet Comfort 45 and Ultra models.
The Bose models were heavily praised specifically for having an incredibly natural transparency mode.
But going back to Garafola, he actually swears by the Apple AirPods Pro too. He prefers how seamlessly they hand off audio across his Apple capsule setup.
Though it is worth noting for anyone considering them, one Reddit user in the thread warned that after dropping their AirPods Pro 2 a few times, the left earbud developed a noticeable physical rattle.
Good to know if you're clumsy. You know, it's funny, we spend all this time optimizing battery life for our devices and debating the merits of noise cancellation, but if you're hauling around a heavy loadout, your own physical battery is going to drain faster.
Yeah, you can't optimize your workflow if you don't have the biological energy to sustain it.
Which brings us to the emergency snack.
An absolute staple of any good EDC bag. Okay, let's unpack this. To figure out what you should actually be carrying, we looked at a 2026 Forbes guide to the best protein bars. It features insights from dietitians Kelly Jones and Lauren Maneker.
And their primary piece of advice completely reframes how we should view these snacks.
How so?
Their core warning is that protein bars should supplement a balanced diet, never replace it. They caution that compared to whole foods, many protein bars have a shockingly low nutrient density.
So you can't just trust the wrapper.
Exactly. You have to evaluate the fiber, the fat quality, the sugar content, and the minerals. You can't just look at the massive 20 grams of protein printed on the shiny wrapper and assume it's healthy.
Let's compare the specific options they broke down, because there's definitely no one-size-fits-all here. If you are looking for post-workout muscle repair, the Forbes best overall pick is the Cliff Builders bar.
It packs 20 grams of soy protein isolate.
And because soy is a complete protein, meaning it contains all the essential amino acids your body can't make on its own, it's highly effective.
It's also low glycemic, so it won't cause a massive spike in your blood sugar, though you do have to watch out for the 16 to 17 grams of added sugar in the standard version.
Now, if avoiding sugar and carbs is your priority, the IQ bar is a really compelling alternative. It uses pea protein, has 0 grams of added sugar, and is Clean Label Project certified.
Meaning it's been independently tested for heavy metals and pesticides.
Right. And for vegans, the Aloha Organic bars offer a really interesting nutritional profile. They provide 14 grams of protein from brown rice and pumpkin seeds, but they also include 10 grams of tapioca fiber.
And because that acts as a prebiotic, it's essentially providing the fuel your good gut bacteria need to thrive.
If you are a minimalist who wants the absolute cleanest ingredient list, the RX bar is the pick. They get their protein primarily from egg whites and use just a couple of dates for sweetness and to bind it all together.
No added sugar, but they are notoriously chewy.
Very chewy. However, if your goal is strictly muscle building, things get a little controversial.
Yeah, the Forbes guide highlights the David protein bars for muscle builders because they pack an impressive 28 grams of protein for only 150 calories.
Which sounds great until you look closer.
Right. The controversy stems from an ingredient called EPG. It is a plant-based fat alternative that has been engineered to largely resist human digestion.
Resist human digestion.
Yes. During recent consumer lab testing, EPG was detected as standard fat content, which sparked a huge debate, even though the company states it only provides 0.7 calories per gram.
It really shows how engineered some of our on-the-go food has become.
It really does.
Yeah.
Now, on the total opposite end of the spectrum, if you are an absolute maximalist who needs a true meal replacement, there is the perfect bar.
It has up to 17 grams of protein and over 300 calories, packed with whole food ingredients like kale and chia seeds.
The major catch for everyday carry, though, is that it's cold-pressed, not baked.
Which gives it an amazing cookie dough texture.
True, but it means it requires refrigeration, so it will not survive long in a hot backpack.
Finally, if you just want low sugar and some crunch, the Kind Protein Max bars utilize allulose. That's a rare sugar that doesn't metabolize like normal sugar in the body, keeping the total sugar count to just 1 gram.
Choosing the right fuel is critical, but true self-sufficiency in EDC extends to the minor physical emergencies of daily life, too.
Like hygiene.
Right. The pandemic fundamentally changed how we view hand sanitizer, making it a permanent fixture in our bags. But a guide by Mrs. O on luxury travel points out that you don't have to settle for harsh, clinical-smelling supermarket brands.
Elevating the mundane items you use every day can actually be a form of self-care.
You really can upgrade those tiny moments. You could carry Aesop's Resurrection Gel for 7 pounds, or Suzanne Kaufman's spray for 16 pounds.
Margaret Dabbs makes a luxury sanitizer for 25 pounds.
Or, if you want something affordable but still pleasant, The Body Shop has a Coconut Cleanse Gel for just 2 pounds 50 pence.
It's about choosing to make a repetitive daily action just slightly more enjoyable.
And remember Maya's Victorian-era clock repair kit from our fictional dialogue earlier?
Sewing kit.
Yes. Sewing kits are the ultimate expression of self-sufficiency. A popped button or a torn seam can ruin a workday, but a guide from the standard outlines compact options to solve it instantly.
The jute case is highly functional. It comes with 18 spools of thread and even a magnifying glass for pinpoint stitches.
If you want something that matches a luxury aesthetic, the Billy Easy Kit is an 11-pound 99 pence mock croc box with leopard print lining.
That sounds like something Maya would have. If you are taking Leo's ultra-minimalist approach, Boots sells a tiny plastic case for £4 with the absolute smallest scissors you'll ever see.
Or if you want to lean heavily into the tactical preparedness aesthetic, there is the Army Tactical S95 kit. It
Hmm.
comes in a rugged Velcro pouch with varying shades of green thread, safety pins, and a thimble.
So let's assume you've done the work. You've curated the perfect tech setup with psychological boundaries, you've chosen the optimal protein bar for your metabolic needs, and you have your luxury sanitizer and tactical sewing kit.
The final step in the EDC subculture isn't just carrying it.
It's documenting it, the pocket dump.
Ah, yes.
It's a massive visual trend online where people lay out the entire contents of their bags for the world to see. To figure out the mechanics of doing this right, we looked at Emily Creative's Guide to Flat Lay Photography.
It turns out this is essentially visual storytelling for your gear.
She breaks down two distinct psychological styles of arranging your items. The first, and most iconic in the EDC world, is called knolling.
Knolling, with a K.
Right. This involves arranging all of your objects perfectly parallel to one another at precise 90-degree angles.
Psychologically, viewing this highly structured grid fosters a profound feeling of organization, tidiness, and security. In a chaotic world, a perfectly knolled pocket dump visually represents total control.
The second style is organic. It's still highly intentional, but the elements aren't rigidly forced into a grid.
It mimics how we naturally prep food on a cutting board or organize items on a working desk.
It feels a bit freer, a little more lived in, but still tells a cohesive story about the person who carries those items.
The execution of either style requires careful planning. Emily's guide suggests first identifying your primary elements versus your supporting elements.
If the visual story you are telling is that you are a weekend rock climber, your primary elements are your rope and carabiners. They need to be the focal point.
Your supporting elements, like the Cliff Bar, the water bottle, and the sunglasses, they should frame those primary tools without overpowering them.
If you want to try this yourself, the source offers some great actionable pro tips. Use a 1 by 1 foot ceramic tile or a piece of wrapped canvas as your background.
That provides a clean, distraction-free texture.
And pay close attention to your lighting. If you have taller items, like a 32-ounce water bottle, they can cast long, distracting shadows.
So if you're using a flash, you need to position that light higher up and directly above the flat lay.
This ensures the shadows stay short and don't obscure the smaller gear in your grid.
If we synthesize everything we've analyzed today, a really fascinating picture of human behavior emerges.
Whether you carry a 750-gram faux crocodile maximalist bag stuffed with cold-pressed perfect bars, analog planners, and army sewing kits.
Or you carry a sleek 400-gram minimalist pouch holding nothing but an iPad mini and an Anker charging block.
Your EDC is far more than a pile of utilitarian stuff. It is a deeply personal, physical reflection of your lifestyle, your daily anxieties, and your ultimate goals.
It physically demonstrates exactly how you plan to navigate the friction of the world each day.
Which brings me to a final thought. I want you to mull over as you go about your day.
Okay.
Imagine that 1,000 years from now, an archaeologist digs up your specific everyday carry bag, perfectly preserved in the ground. They don't have your social media profiles, they don't have your diary, and they definitely don't have your search history.
Thank goodness.
Right. But without knowing anything else about you, what story would that specific combination of gadgets, snacks, and tools tell them? What would it say about the world you lived in, the minor inconveniences you feared, and the way you ultimately valued your time in the year 2026?
That is an incredible lens to view our daily habits through. Every item is a silent witness to our priorities.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep optimizing your carry, stay curious about the choices you make, and keep exploring the fascinating details of the world around you. We'll catch you next time.